An overwhelming majority of guys get this wrong, but women adore it. Seems bold, right? But consider this. How often do you see a man who looks like he has everything figured out, yet he can't seem to form any real, lasting bonds with women? The issue isn't about his status, his wallet, or his charisma. The reality is, most men are blind to certain tiny actions that create an immense pull. Today, I'm laying out 8 unspoken rules that women deeply respond to but will seldom articulate. These aren't your recycled dating cliches. These are subtle levers of psychology, rooted in both modern science and timeless stoic wisdom, that will reshape how women see you, making you magnetic without a single ounce of effort. Just think. What if you could connect with the unspoken desires women carry, the ones they barely recognize in themselves? What if you could effortlessly distinguish yourself from the other 99% of men? Not by chasing her, not by seeking her approval, but by grasping what truly makes a woman feel witnessed, wanted, and deeply understood. And make no mistake, if you're unaware of these principles, you are operating at a massive deficit. You're likely forfeiting the kind of profound attraction that has her thinking about you long after you've gone. This is why you must stick around for the entire video. The final principle is the most impactful, and once you absorb it, your entire perspective on connection will change. Before we start, a quick request. If you're committed to mastering these powerful dynamics, tap the like button, subscribe, and activate notifications so you never miss the life-altering knowledge we share. Let's begin. Principle 1. The art of contact before closeness. Imagine the scene. You're on a date. The conversation is good. She's smiling, and everything appears to be on track. Yet there's a disconnect. You can feel the emotional gap. She's participating, but she isn't fully captivated. You take her home, send that text, and then radio silence. What went wrong? Most men put all their energy into words, assuming good dialogue is enough. But for women, connection is more than just talk. It's visceral and emotional. And there's an incredibly powerful method to build that bond-mindful touch. Not in a forceful, demanding manner, nor in a way that puts her on edge, but in a delicate, purposeful, and profoundly reassuring way. One of the most underutilized gestures that women intensely crave is a simple, calming touch before any thought of intimacy. Sounds basic, doesn't it? But here's the source of its power. For women, a feeling of emotional safety is paramount, often more so than raw physical attraction. A well-timed, non-sexual touch communicates volumes where words fail. It silently says, "I'm with you. Your comfort matters to me. I want you to feel secure and at ease." This isn't about being a professional masseuse or showing off. It's about your sheer presence, about being anchored in the now, and making her feel relaxed, seen, and wanted on an emotional plane, not just a physical one. The secret. It isn't just about the contact itself, but the intention fueling it. If you're just going through the motions, it will fall flat. But if you are attentive, present, and genuinely noticing her reaction, she will feel that energy. The great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." Don't get stuck in your head. Don't make it strange. Just exist in that moment and allow your actions to communicate for you. Here's the blunt truth. The majority of men will never bother to grasp this. They'll stay in the 99% who fumble with genuine emotional closeness. But the men who understand it forge deep, unforgettable connections. In a society fixated on instant wins and shallow engagement, this level of considerate action is a rarity. When you learn this, you join the 1%, the men who truly get what women need on a much deeper frequency. Principle 2. Playful banter with integrity and poise. The art of flirting is lost on most men. They either push too hard, appearing needy and thirsty for approval, or they hold back so much they become forgettable, terrified of saying the wrong thing. Here's the reality: women love to flirt, but only when it's delivered with confident poise and total respect. A man who can flirt with ease is a breath of fresh air, because he cultivates an energy that is thrilling without being demanding. Flirting isn't about impressing her with cheesy jokes or over the top praise. It's about keeping the vibe fun, light-hearted, and dynamic. Picture it as a kind of dance. You might take the lead, she might respond, but neither of you feels pressured into any step. The most effective way to do this is with fun, playful teasing. For instance, if she shares that she loves a particular movie, you might smile and say, "Really? That's your top pick? I'm not sure your taste can be trusted." It presents a slight challenge that energizes the conversation and introduces a spirit of fun rivalry. More importantly, skillful flirting is never about seeking her validation. The instant you appear to be trying too hard, you give away your power. Women are irresistibly drawn to men who are at ease with themselves, men who can be playful without needing her approval. This connects directly to Stoic thought. A man of high value doesn't flirt as a strategy to win her. He flirts because he genuinely enjoys the energetic exchange. He stays emotionally centered, unattached to her reaction. Beyond your words, your gaze and body language are paramount. A confident glance followed by a slight smirk, a slow nod, or a well-placed moment of silence can say more than any line you could rehearse. Attraction is not constructed from words alone. It's constructed from presence, vibe, and self-assurance. When you flirt from the correct frame of mind, women register it immediately. So ask yourself, are you flirting to get a result? Or are you flirting because you're enjoying the dance? Master this distinction, and you'll feel the dynamic of attraction shift your way. Principle 3. The magic of touching her hair. Most men will never even think of this, but women adore it when a man knows the right way to touch their hair. Delivered in the right context, it's one of those subtle, seemingly minor acts that forges an immediate emotional bond. But if you get it wrong, it can feel clumsy, out of place, or even violating. The secret is in the why. The scalp is one of the body's most sensitive regions, packed with nerve endings that activate deep emotional feedback. A deliberate, soft touch to her hair can transmit potent, unspoken signals of closeness, trust, and desire. It goes beyond the physical feeling. It's about the implied message. It can mean, "I'm here with you. I am present and tuned into your vibe." But this is where it goes sideways for most guys. They either rush the moment or do it robotically, with no genuine feeling behind the action. Touching her hair isn't about just idly fiddling with it. It's about crafting a singular moment of connection. Imagine this: you are sitting together, lost in a good conversation, and in a perfect moment, you softly brush a strand of hair back from her face. That one gesture, performed with presence and assurance, communicates more than a monologue ever could. The timing is crucial. This is not something for a first meeting or before you've built any sort of emotional bridge. It lands best when she is already at ease with you, when a current of chemistry is palpable in the air. If she shifts slightly closer, if her smile invites you in, that's your sign that the moment is right. The absolute worst approach is to force it when she's not open to it, which is why your awareness and presence are vital. From a Stoic viewpoint, this relates to emotional intelligence and self-control. Stoicism trains us to assess situations without being driven by our impulses, to maintain our center rather than being led by our desires. This means you don't reach out simply because you want to, but because the context is perfect to deepen the connection. So, the next time you are with a woman and the vibe feels right, do not discount the impact of a simple, intentional touch on her hair. When it's done with quiet confidence, it's one of those uncommon, powerful gestures that creates a lasting impression. Principle 4. The guiding hand in public. This might register as a minor, inconsequential act, but its impact is immense. A confident, simple touch on a woman's lower back as you lead her through a packed room or walk beside her communicates something deeply attractive: guidance, assurance, and a sense of protection. Still, 99% of men will either completely miss this opportunity or second, guess themselves into inaction. Women don't require huge displays of masculine force to feel safe. They respond to understated, primal cues that a man is centered, present, and capable of taking the lead. When you place your hand on her back in a composed, steady manner, you communicate that you are in command of yourself and the environment, all without uttering a sound. This has nothing to do with dominance or possessiveness. It's about demonstrating through action that you are present, you are aware, and you are guiding with a quiet strength. But here is the common misstep. Guys either hesitate for too long, which makes the gesture feel clumsy, or they do it in a way that seems rehearsed and unnatural. It is not about claiming ownership or begging for a reaction. It's about being present. When executed properly, the touch is light yet firm, it brief yet purposeful, just enough for her to notice it, and register your leadership in a way that feels completely organic. Picture it. You are walking together towards a cafe entrance. As you move slightly ahead to get the door for her, your hand momentarily makes contact with her lower back, just enough to guide her path without either of you breaking your stride. It's a fleeting moment of quiet leadership, a gesture that subconsciously lets her know she's with a man who navigates the world with poise and purpose. In Stoic terms, this ties directly to self-possession and emotional presence. Marcus Aurelius taught, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." A centered man doesn't need his actions to be validated. He just is a source of strength, awareness, and quiet control. When you place your hand on her back, you're not looking for a response. You are simply being a man of presence and direction, and that in itself is magnetic. In a world where so many men are either too timid or too aggressive, mastering this one simple yet potent move will distinguish you as someone who gets the subtle interplay of strength and care. Principle 5. Embody the guardian, her anchor. Let's cut through the static for a moment and be real about a feeling every man understands, but few discuss: that fundamental drive to be a shield, to lead, to be the person she can rely on when things get turbulent. Not because you think she's helpless, not because you need to be in charge, but because it is encoded in your masculine center to protect, not possess, to be a rock, not a runaway train. And this is the part most men fail to see. Women are drawn to that. Not an enforcer, not a controller, but a man who exudes a presence that wordlessly says, "I've got you, you are safe here." And here is the paradox. You don't get this role through bigger muscles or a bigger bank account. You get it through your emotional fortitude. You see, most men believe that being her hero means charging in with fixes, solving her problems, giving her advice, and patching up her bad day like it's a plumbing issue. But that is not what she's after. What she truly desires is a man who can remain steadfast while her world is spinning, a man who doesn't recoil from her emotions, who doesn't attempt to dismiss them, belittle them, or turn them into something about him. She needs to feel that you can handle her storm without losing your own peace. Because when a woman is emotionally overwhelmed, she's not seeking a repairman. She's seeking someone who won't be shaken by the wind, someone who doesn't look for an exit, someone who can absorb without reacting, someone who stays and stays centered. That is what makes you her protector. It's not loud or flashy. It's not a movie script romance. It's consistent, calm, and unbreakable. And the more she experiences that from you, the more she is able to relax into her own feminine energy, because suddenly she's not shouldering the entire emotional load. She is free to let go because she trusts you have her, especially when she's at her most difficult. Now, let's get precise. Being her guardian means you allow her to feel without rushing to a solution. You listen with your full presence, not just your ears. You maintain your composure when she's pushing your buttons, not to teach her a lesson, but to show her that her emotions won't shatter your foundation. You take charge in chaotic moments without a lengthy explanation. Your calmness is the message. Here's the key insight. You become her anchor before the storm arrives. This means you aren't just reactive to drama, your very energy helps prevent it. You establish the emotional atmosphere. You move with purpose. You speak with clarity. You don't have to announce, "I've got your back," because your entire demeanor broadcasts it. But let's be crystal clear. This is not about being her emotional doormat. Being a guardian doesn't mean you accept disrespect, chaos, or emotional games. It means you safeguard your own peace above all. Because a man unable to protect his own inner state can never effectively protect hers. This is where Stoic philosophy becomes a superpower in relationships. As Seneca wrote, no man was ever wise by chance. You don't just fall into this position. You consciously choose it. You build it. You become it. Not for her, not to prove a point, but because it's the essence of who you are and who you must be to lead with integrity, not desperation. And here's the beautiful contradiction. When you fully occupy that energy, her entire perception of you changes. She becomes softer. She opens up. She yields. Not because you rescued her, but because you showed her she would never have to rescue you. So, if you are finished with trying to buy her affection with over-giving, if you're sick of being the emotional caretaker, just to feel needed, if you're finally prepared to lead with a grounded masculine core, type this below. I am her anchor. Because the man she desires, the one she respects at a cellular level, is not the most vocal one. Is the one who stays solid when it matters. The one who listens without fixing. The one who holds that space without fear, and the one who leads without losing his center. That is the man she will trust. That is the protector, not just of her body, but of her feeling of safety in his presence. Principle 6. The statement of a beard. Alright, let's discuss something that seems entirely on the surface at first, but connects to something far more elemental: the beard. For some, it's mere facial hair. For others, it's a declaration. But for her, if you carry it with the right energy, it can awaken an attraction that feels nearly primal. Now, I'm not claiming all women are into beards. Preferences vary from clean, shaven to scruffy to a full woodsman aesthetic. But whatever her personal taste, there's a deep, seated reason why beards have always been a symbol of something elemental, something masculine, something quietly potent. And women sense this, even when they can't put it into words. Because a beard doesn't simply alter your appearance, it alters your perceived presence. And in the world of attraction, perception defines reality. Look, a well-maintained beard suggests a level of maturity and life experience. It lends you an edge. It says, without speaking, this man has moved beyond his boyish phase. He is not seeking validation. He simply is. And that simply is vibe. That is stoic. That is masculine. That is the type of presence that resonates more profoundly than anything you could articulate. Let's dig deeper. Psychologically, facial hair often represents a quiet dominance and substance. Not the loud, aggressive type of dominance, but the silent kind. The kind that enters a space and has no need to announce its arrival. It communicates through stillness, presence, and attention to detail. And when a woman senses that in a man, particularly one who carries a beard with both confidence and care, it strikes an ancient chord within her. She perceives safety, but also a latent strength. She gets the sense of a man who can both protect and provoke, one who isn't easily swayed by others, one who lives by his own code. But to be clear, this is not about just letting a beard grow wildly. A beard executed properly is more than an aesthetic. It's a reflection of your self-discipline. It signals, I care for myself. I focus on the details. I invest in how I show up. An unkempt, messy beard does not communicate power. It communicates neglect. But a clean-shaped, intentional beard says, I am certain of who I am, and I'm unapologetic about it. Now for the subtle dynamic no one mentions. When a woman glides her fingers along your jawline, through your beard, she's not just taking in the texture. She's feeling something more profound. It's physical contact, but it's also a powerful contrast: your roughness against her smoothness, her delicate skin meeting your rugged edge. It is a sensory journey, and it says more than words. This is the piece most guys miss. A beard doesn't just change your face, it generates polarity. And polarity is the engine of chemistry. Not being the same, not just being comfortable, but being different: masculine and feminine, stillness and flow, strength and surrender. The beard, when matched with the right inner state, becomes a powerful tool to amplify that polarity, to make her feel profoundly more feminine just by being near you. But I repeat, it is never about the beard itself. It's about the man wearing it. Because if your energy is needy, if your personal lines are blurry, if you chase, justify, or overcompensate, no amount of facial hair will shift her feelings. But if you carry yourself as a man, silent when needed, deliberate with your focus, rooted in your mission, then the beard is no longer just for show. It becomes an emblem of the man you are, and that is precisely where its charm originates. Let's circle back to the Stoics. Epictetus advised, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. You don't grow a beard to hide your insecurity. You grow it as an expression of your identity. It doesn't grant you strength. It showcases the strength you have already built. So, whether you opt for a clean shave or a full beard, do it with clear intention. Don't chase trends. Don't copy someone else's style. Lead with your core presence and allow all else to fall in line. And if this insight resonates with you today, if you now see that masculinity is not only felt, but also seen, then drop this in the comments. My presence is my statement. Because the man who knows himself doesn't just grow a beard. He wears it as a signal, a quiet communication to her that he is a man with nothing left to prove. He already is. Principle 7, the magnetism of shared humor. Let me put this to you, brother. When's the last time you elicited a real laugh from a woman? And I don't mean a polite chuckle. Not that, oh, you're funny, that follows a joke that didn't land. I mean that authentic defenseless, from the gut laughter. The kind that makes her lean back and lose herself for a moment. The kind that makes her impulsively touch your arm. The kind that melts her defenses without you saying a word. Because here's the part that most men are oblivious to: laughter is not just about fun. It's a form of intimacy. It is a powerful disarming agent. It sneaks past her logical brain and goes straight to her core emotional state. Do you want to understand the deep psychology here? When a woman genuinely laughs with you, her brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the very same chemical she experiences with touch, closeness, and deep trust. In that moment, you cease being just the man she's speaking with. You become the man she feels safe with, the one who feels like a respite. Now, most guys never learn to use this. Why? They're too busy trying to be impressive, to say the perfect thing, to be the strong, stoic, aloof man. And while all of that can be valuable, if that's your only gear, she'll feel a sense of respect, but not attraction. She will register you as composed, but ultimately forgettable. Laughter is the thing that cements you in her memory. It's the secret ingredient, the break in the tension, the exhale when she realizes, being around this man makes my life feel better. But here is what's critical. It's not about being a stand-up comic. It's not about desperate attempts to get a laugh out of her. It's about recognizing when to relax into the moment, when to playfully poke fun, when to let her playfully poke back, when to not take yourself so damn seriously. That's the stuff that creates a brand of chemistry that doesn't need physical contact to feel electric. Let me illustrate. You are out with her. The energy is calm. You spot something, a small detail no one else would see, and you deliver a dry, perfectly timed observation. Her mouth quirks into a smile. She tries to suppress it, she can't. And now you are both sharing a laugh. That moment right there is more potent than any pickup line, because it wasn't manufactured, it belonged to you both. It was shared, unplanned, and authentic, and the magic of it is, she will remember that later. Not the specifics of the joke, but the feeling. She won't recall the words. She will recall how light and free she felt in your presence. In a world that often feels overwhelmingly heavy to her, that feeling is pure gold. Now, here's the mistake most men make. They believe laughter is a sign of weakness, that if they aren't totally serious, they lose her respect. It's the exact opposite. The man who can be light without surrendering his depth is a rare breed. He is captivating. He is magnetic because he doesn't have to be on to feel powerful. He understands that laughter doesn't diminish his masculinity, it expands it. It demonstrates that he is not intimidated by the moment, that he commands his own energy, that even from a place of stillness, he can inspire joy. Let's connect this to Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius noted, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing." But he also believed that external things are not the source of our pain, but rather our judgments about them. Put simply, your capacity to reframe situations, to convert tension into ease, is a form of power, and laughter is that very conversion. It's how you guide her energy back toward joy, how you show her that masculinity doesn't always need to be heavy, that strength can smile, that centeredness can spark joy. So, if you've been shouldering the burden of always being the intense guy, if you've forgotten the simple pleasure of enjoying a moment with a woman without needing to perform or control, it is time to rediscover that, not for her, but to reconnect with that part of yourself first. Because the man who laughs with her, not at her or for her, but truly with her, that man is building something far more profound than just attraction. He is building an emotional imprint. If that's the man you are becoming, drop this in the comments below. My strength is in my lightness. Because the man who brings a smile to her face is the one she wants to be around, not only when things are fun, but when they're difficult. Because laughter, brother, isn't just a noise, it's a signal. And when you share it, it forges a bond she can't quite define, but will never, ever forget. Principle 8, the pull of a man's vision. Let's move past attraction for 1 second, past the physical touch, past the witty banter, past the surface level chemistry. Let's discuss something women deeply desire, but seldom know how to verbalize: a man with a vision. I'm not talking about just a career, or a financial goal, or a 5-year plan. I'm talking about a sense of direction, a man who isn't merely existing, but is actively constructing something. Because here is the profound truth that most men miss. Nothing draws a woman in more deeply than a man who is relentlessly moving towards something larger than himself. This isn't about the money. It isn't about the recognition. It isn't even about what the dream actually is. It is about what having that dream communicates about you. It communicates that you are vital. It communicates that you are not content to stay put. It communicates that you get out of bed with a driving purpose, and that kind of energy is irresistibly magnetic. Do you want to know what a woman truly finds compelling? It is the man who can look her dead in the eye and say, "I can't be out too late tonight. I have to work." And she knows he is telling the absolute truth. Not because he is trying to get away from her, but because he will not allow himself to get lost in her. That is the real secret. You do not capture her heart by making her the center of your universe. You capture it by making your mission your center and allowing her to witness the passion in your eyes as you speak of it. And here's the reason it's so effective. Because when a woman senses your clear direction, when she sees you are in pursuit of something real, that you are not passively waiting for life to come to you, she will respect you on a primal level. She